Hello and welcome to the Thursday show here on the Frontline Gaming Network. My name is Paul Murphy, your host. I'm joined by Adam Camilleri
Oh, hello there.
and Dustin Henshaw.
Hello.
This is your weekly meta breakdown, talking about some events coming up on the weekend. We've selected some great ones from all over the world. Well, three different countries,
Yep.
two different continents.
Yeah, we got a spicy GT in Mexico. I think it's about an hour outside Mexico City. Lovely
Nice.
Artemis Steve, I think, is in attendance. He pushed that one our way. And firstly, freaking awesome that we on this show get to highlight some obscure metas, some obscure regions that don't get a lot of attention. And in addition, a lovely lad. Steve has been in the chat supporting us from the beginning. And this, what number episode is this, boys? Is it something auspicious?
52. This is our 1 year anniversary of doing the Thursday show.
Happy birthday,
Each
Thursday.
And every week, if you didn't pick up, if you're listening to us after the fact, this is a live show that we do and also release out of the podcast aggregators. We have a pretty active chat community. So if you've not done this live with us on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time is when we try to kick off. You should come hang out. And what's up? We've already got a bunch of people saying what's up to us in the chat, and we really appreciate it. Thank you all very much for coming in. It really keeps us active and loving it each and every week. Let's just jump right into it. We have, like we mentioned, the 3 tournaments coming up. One of the ones is the Frontline Gaming's own Lone Star Open happening in Dallas, Texas. 214 players, 9-round event. Somebody is walking away completely undefeated.
It's going to be a slobber knocker. New meta, new everything, some old hats, and some really potent lists. What are we going to say?
Let's have a look. So the Imperial Super Faction is going to be 16 Sisters of Battle, 9 Custodes, 2 Cult Mechanicus, 5 Astro Militarum, 10 Grey Knights, and 6 Imperial Knights. So Sisters shooting up there. That doesn't surprise me too much. So they're
I'm
fantastic
actually
right now.
in shell shock after the shellacking I got from the Sisters this past weekend.
So you saw it firsthand then.
It was everywhere. Brutal.
Brutal. The Space Marines, there's 3 Dark Angels, 2 Space Wolves, 10 Blood Angels.
Yeah, man.
2 Ultramarines, 3 Salamanders, 1 Raven Guard, 1 Black Templar, 1 White Scar, 1 Imperial Fist, and 2 Death Watch. Chaos, we have 1 Chaos Soup, 12 Chaos Space Marines, 14 T-Suns, 12 Death Guard, 9 Renegade Knights. Xenos, there are 13 Necrons, 6 Orcs, and 14 Tau Orcs, taking a bit of a drop there. Hive Mind Super Faction, 18 Tyranids, 7 Gene Stealer Call. Oh, yes, I
It's
love
like a 300% increase.
That's incredible. Oh, they're winning this event. Hands down. This is happening now. Eldari, there is 1 Eldari, 4 Drakari, 7 Harlequins, 12 Asuriani, and 2 Yanari. That means the faction podium is Tyranids topping it out at 18, still Sisters at 16, Tau and T-Suns at 14. This is a bit of a callback, I think, with the Tyranids at the top still. They took a hit, but they don't seem to care. Like they're still fine. Sisters taking a rise, obviously. Tau didn't go down that much either. Have Tau been figured out again already?
Yeah, it's the okay, well, let's just put some hammerheads in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go first.
Seriously.
Done. All right, there we go.
So we used to run 15, 17, 18 Crisis. Let's reduce that down to about 12, 10 to 12, and just fill the rest of the points with chucking the Devilfish we took out like 3 months ago, chuck in Long Strike, chuck in 1 or 2 Hammers. We're good to go again. Surprisingly, Sunshark Bombers are starting to pop up here, there, and everywhere as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit more of a resurgence in Flyers. But even though they got a little bit of a nerf because they can't score you engage anymore, there's a couple of other secondaries they can't get you here and there. But apparently Flyers just seem to be back on the menu. And I think it's in response to some of the more aggro lists out there being quite ground based. Maybe Necrons, can't really jump up and reach them.
Yeah, I mean, don't the Ophidians they fly or no?
No, they just phase through. I don't.
Phase. That's right.
They just phase. Yeah,
they phase. I don't believe they have they might have the fly keyword.
No, I think you're right. I think it's the same as a race. They don't actually fly. They just have the phase.
Yeah, and things like Repentia. I mean, Zephyr absolutely going to slap him out of the sky, but dodge them. The Repentia really can't do anything against you. So yeah, there's a little bit of resurgence in flyers coming around. 7 GSC is really nice. And what do you guys think of the Chaos Space Marine numbers? So finally, we're starting to see that wave begin to build. We're up to 12 in representation. Not too shabby at all.
Not too shabby. No, what do you think they're mostly gonna be? Like a lot of Emperor's Chosen to the third, not Custodes, Emperor's Children and Bile.
It's actually quite a lot of Black Legion to be surprised. To be
Black Legion,
surprised.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think Abaddon is just so attractive, and granted you can take him in other lists,
yeah.
Mm.
but there's
Well,
come on, people are going to stay
everyone's
on theme sometimes.
I know
Mhm.
quite a few Chaos Space Marine players, and they all own the Abbey model, and they've never used the Abbey model. So I wouldn't be surprised if everyone's just like, well, I guess I'm just playing Black Legion to start with because I want to. I haven't had a chance to use it. So yeah, I think at least a third of that 12 is Black Legion, and then sprinkled in there's a couple Iron Warriors, there's a couple of Emperor's Children as well. I didn't have time to deep dive it, unfortunately, which is something I hope to do in the coming weeks to be able to put a little brackets at the end of it and be like, this how many, this one, da, 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 da. Similar to what we do with the Space Marines.
Yeah, we've all
Um,
done like some kind of review of or tier list on one podcast or another of our Chaos Space Marines, right? So who do you think is actually top in your guys' opinion right now?
Right now, that's tough. I
I
mean, I'm
think it's
going
a,
to go Emperor's
there you go.
Children is my pick.
I think it's a little bit meta dependent, but knowing that the NIDs are mostly melee based, Blood Angels are everywhere, Sisters are everywhere, Emperor's Children makes a hell of a lot of sense to me. I think the top of the pile, just for linear power, is Word Bearers, and then but they have the most straightforward game. Like they get
Mhm.
to the middle, score a psychic secondary, score their Word Bearer secondary, and then just send in the possessed waves. While they all stay behind their Terminators. Emperor's Children do that the same but better, push to more of an extreme, but they don't have the great scoring ability, or they can find that in a shooting match they just get ground out to nothing. Like if you
Yeah,
can play keep away from Emperor's Children, they kind of don't do anything.
yeah,
Is the issue?
that
It's
makes sense.
tougher though because they do have a little range firepower. But look, let's talk about. I know, still in the same vein of chaos. These Thousand Suns, they're 14,000
Yeah,
Suns
Yeah,
list,
yeah.
and I would not have expected them to be even on the podium, much less tied for third.
Well, if I had to guess, that would be Necrons where T Suns are. It'd be the podium would be Nids, Necrons, Sisters would be my assumption going into this. And in any order, I mean, not saying that's 1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
But yeah, Dustin? What do you make of T Suns at the moment?
I actually like T-Sets are still really strong. I actually think they have a rough matchup in the Sisters. I've seen that matchup
Mm,
go a couple times, and they can be a rough matchup for them. Sisters are just so good at trading them, and they can do it with a lot cheaper units into the T-Suns.
yeah.
T-Suns do have a lot of capability of killing them, that's for sure. Like their bolters alone can thrash through them. But if you're talking about tables like the tables we're going to see at Lone Star, the T-Suns are not going to be able to get the engagements that they want because Sisters are just
Mm,
faster, right? But
yeah.
T-Suns in general, they should be good in the Tyranids now,
Yes. Yes.
right?
That's true. Yep.
Now, maybe not old Tyranids, but Tyranids now they are good into
Mm,
them, and there's gonna be a lot of those there, obviously.
Oh,
So they're always a good choice. They're solid. They're a point. They're a list that will never usually win big, but they can win very
mm.
handedly. Like
got a comment in the
oh,
chat here that Joel Atkins says this is first tournament, first grand tournament.
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, the Lone Star Open. Nervous and excited. That is how you really will go into every single
Yep,
tournament.
Doesn't fade away.
it
Let us
doesn't
know what
fade
you're
away.
taking. That's really cool.
It's the excitement.
And also,
It's
folks, let
always
us
there.
know in the chat. Thank you for the kind of the nod there that Emperor's Children are very strong. But what are everyone else's pick? What are they picking for top Chaos faction? What would they least like to see if they're not a Chaos player?
Mm.
Engage with us, guys. We got some live chat here. All right, what are we seeing? What are the list there? Let's see some
All
of
right,
this
all
here.
right.
Man. Come on.
Top players in attendance. We have 3 of the top 10 in the USA in representation here. First up is Brenton Weiss. He's ranked second in the states at the moment, under Tom Ogden, and they're both Tau mains. So it's funny that Tau is kind of sitting 1 and 2 in the United States in the ITC. Well, the people who play them. So he's playing a Tau Sept. He's got a patrol. Starts off with Arn Var, which is the first time I've seen him in a while. A Cold-Star Commander, 10 Crute, and then 2 units of 4 Crisis Suits. Then he's got his second patrol, Crisis Commander, Long Strike, 10 Crute, another 4 Crisis Suits, so making the 3 units of 4, 3 Stealth Suits, a single Sunshark Bomber, and Shadow Sun. This is a tight, confident list from what I can see. It hasn't
Wait,
got a lot of the.
doesn't
Yeah.
Anva hate Shadow Sun?
Uh, I think it's the other. Isn't it the other way around?
Well,
Anvar kind of used Shadow Sun as his puppet for a lot of years, and Shadow Sun ended
Who
up,
knows what this Tau
flipping him off.
drama is?
But he's a hologram anyway, so it doesn't matter. Anybody who's up with the lore knows what's going on.
look at his feet. They're different than every other Tau.
Um, this is a pretty tidy list. This is really compact. There's none of the really spammed out breaches. There's none of the little crude hounds here and there. It's and this is what the recent balance changes really did to them. It's kind of interesting to see how many points Brenton's been willing to spend in his HQ slots. Anvar, a Cold Star, Long Strike, a Crisis Commander, and Shadow Sun. It's like almost a third of his list just spent in the HQ slots, which is quite interesting. And I suppose all the power to him if he's going to get the mileage. But yeah, what do you boys make of it?
I actually think that the Tau characters have been underutilized in a lot of lists ever since we had like three commanders. Like the commanders are just so good, and their
Yeah.
HQ slots are just in general good. The commanders, Long Strike, Shadow Sun. Like I think it's great to bring this many of them. They're great value. Third of the list, sure, but they're doing a third of the work, if not more.
What's
Yeah.
on Voss trick? Like, what's that special ability? The super ethereal.
So all the other ethereals went up in points, firstly. So they all got a points hike, and in addition, you don't always have the CP to chuck on the to pay for the is it the noble staff, the one that lets him
The
do the
noble staff, yeah.
incantations and all that stuff extra good. So he's the ethereal's costing you more points, and he's costing you a CP, and then all he's doing really is getting you back a CP. So you're like, well, if I just plan better, if I just play better with my CP, I don't need this guy at all. I'll take somebody who buffs my army more, which is Anvar. Now, unfortunately, I haven't dived Anvar. The list for this event went live less than an hour ago, and he was on my list of like, if I had another 20 minutes, I would have sussed out what that guy does. If anybody in chat knows what the trick is with him, please let us know.
Well, Sindri just helped us out. It's Farsight, not Shadow Sun, that Anva has beef
Oh, okay.
with.
Yeah.
And that is right. So thank you very much for that.
But yeah, I like this list a lot. Jumping down to the next top player in attendance, Nathaniel Borges. Yeah, ranked 8th in the USA. He's playing Necrons, Expansionist, and Conquerors. That's your ubiquitous scout move and obsec. Starts off with the Silent King. Then he's got a double patrol. Is it just me, boys, or does Necrons the only list that gets to like be like, a double patrol is the modus operandi? I mean, I know we just saw Brenton getting away with it with Tau, but all the Necron lists at the moment seem to be triple detachment. So yeah, Silent King. Then his first patrol is a Catacomb Command Barge, 5 Immortals, a Transcendent Catan, 3 Scarabs, and 5 Wraiths. And then his second patrol is a Technomancer, another 5 Immortals, a Catan Shard of the Deceiver for that juicy redeploy, another 3 Scarabs, another 5 Wraiths, and 5 Locust Destroyers. This is a kind of a nice all-comers package. But once again, Silent King double Catan is starting to become an archetype, like undeniably.
Look at this. You look at what models are on the table. You're like, well, I guess there's some Necrons over there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what it feels like.
Yeah. Well, because it doesn't. It just feels like a bunch of stuff. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's a coherent, but it is. It works together really well in concert. So it's got a bunch of mortal wounds, which against like some of the MSU stuff against sisters, I love this list because you just go Sky Falling Stars, bang, 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 and then between your 2 Catan, they put out like somewhere between 6 and 12 mortal wounds a piece, and you're like, happy days.
Yeah, you
Against
got
all
a
these
small
MSU.
squad. You got
my
an 8.
God.
Yeah.
You're rolling hot with those things, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Well, they do 2 powers each, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 powers each doing like 3-ish, 3+ mortal wounds from each one. 2 powers, 6-ish mortal wounds. You can spike. I don't know about you. I've had a Nightbringer rock up to me and just like smite dead, or Gaze of Nightbringer dead. So much stuff in a turn. It's been obnoxious.
Here's where you went wrong. Letting the
that
Nightbringer
experience, okay. I think I get it.
that close. Yeah, there you go. It's the residual coming through.
I get it.
And I will say, Deceiver was on a tear this past weekend at the ATC. Basically, if you took the Deceiver, you didn't lose. That's the evidence that we have.
Well, so I don't know how you boys evaluate it, but so many armies have a redeploy, but so many of them pay 2 CP at the start of the game to do their redeploy. And so many people don't have it in their budget anymore. In their CP budget, just be like, I guess I'll just deploy defensively and then won't spend my Phantasm, won't spend my Ultramarines redeploy or whatever it may be. That's why the Deceiver is so potent, because you get to fix your deployment after you say who goes first and be like, well, I'm in the perfect stance. It's so pivotal now to guaranteeing you get a strong first turn, and the scoring pressure that Necrons put on you turn one is
not okay.
kind of insane.
That's not okay. It's legitimate. Like you have to fight them immediately. They don't have to come at you. You have to come at them in order to stop them from scoring. Otherwise, they're just going to outscore you. They don't care. They don't have to come at you.
Yeah, they'll be up 12 points. You'll be like, what went wrong?
Yeah, what do they do?
Yeah. And unlike the bus stop lists where we'll see like, here's a bunch of Terminators who make it to midboard and we stand and get points, they will jump around, they'll fade away, they'll change flanks on you, and skill store the same amount of points. His list is very mobile, is one thing to say about Nathaniel's. The Wraiths are fast, the Silent King's fast, the Catans aren't slow. They're not super speedy, but they're not slow by any means. They can still advance and do all their powers. So yeah, it can actually just kind of flip on a dime on you and rotate around. But jumping into our last top player in attendance of the ones we looked up. So this is the first 3 guys in the ITC that were attending the event. This is Colin McDade. He's ranked 9th in the USA at the moment. He's taking Sisters. He's taking the Bloody Rose, of course. He's got a single battalion detachment. He's got 2 Crusaders, 2 Death Cult Assassins, and a Repentia Superior in the no Force Org slot, which tells you a lot about what's coming up. Canoness, Missionary Morven Val for the HQs. 3 units of Battle Sisters. Usually we'll see novitiates in here, but I think because of how prevalent some of the Armor Contempt armies are getting, the novitiates are dropping off a little bit. Then he's got a Dogmata, Hospitaller, 3 units of 8 Repentia, 3 units of Zephyr, 977 for his numbers, 3 units of 5 Retributors, which is actually, I think, the point of difference between Colin's list and a couple of others, and a Rhino. So he's eschewed things like the single Castigator. He's eschewed having, some smaller, some bigger units of Repentia. Usually we'll see like a 4 and a 5, and then 2 7s, or a 5, a 7 and an 8, or the Zephyr will be, have a 5, a 6, and a 10 or something. And so he's gone much more homogenous with the units he's got, but in exchange he's gotten 3 units of multi-melter Retributors. Which I think on player place terrain, I like better than the single Castigator.
Yeah, so actually we were talking about this last week too with the Sisters list, and have several smaller Repentia, several small Zephyr, but having like at least 3 big ones to make those really good trades. Colin's like, nah, full send. Here we go. I can kill anything with 6 different units, and I have 3 Retributors, so I can kill other things at range too. I like this change. It's what do you think he's actually prepping for? With having that many big trading units, is it for survivability, or is it he needs to kill some other things he's going to be afraid of, or what do you think it is?
I think it's stuff like Necrons.
You think he needs the extra Necrons, eh?
Well, so they've got a bunch of toughness 5 multi-wound models that the smaller Zephyr squads don't crack. Like you go, cool. I sent 6 Seraphim into 5 Wraiths, killed 3, they got 1 back, and I die. That kind of math. As soon as you start tipping over some of these breakpoints, you just start picking up units wholesale. In addition, that's why I like the bigger squads of Repentia for this exactly the same reason. I also think he's armor contempting. He's going to annihilation levels against Armor of Contempt and the mirror match. Because the Castigator don't do squat against Armor of Contempt. Doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it felt like it was not doing a lot. That's being on the receiving end of several of them this past weekend. Again, I have a little bit of experience here to share.
Well, the Castigator is awesome into Eldari, into Harlequins, all that stuff. Into Nids, it's really good as well. But you play against yourself and Blood Angels, and you're like, if that's all you've got from long range, I don't even need to stand in cover. I don't even need to deploy in cover against you, because you can't charge me turn 1, and I get 2 ups against the Castigator. So who gives a crap? So it's that kind of stuff. He's taken away anything that people can just be like that a matchup may make inert, and just taken value essentially.
I got a question: is what's the purpose? Like, what's the use case of the Death Cult Assassins in this list?
You need this, so because he's got bigger squads, he doesn't have a small nothing. He doesn't have a bunch of small nothing units to send out as little trading pieces. So usually it would be like I send out 5 Repentia, 5 Battle Sisters. They get eaten by some Intercessors. 5 Repentia go and kill that, and cool. I won that trade on points, and I still hold the objective. The Death Cults go out now, and the Death Cults actually aren't crap in combat. They're actually pretty respectable. They're not amazing. Small flanking trading units to go and do some shenanigans on side objectives, especially when you don't want to send 8 Repentia. You don't want to spend 7 Zephyr. They're not. He doesn't have the small nothing trading piece units.
You hit it on the head there. I believe with the trade game, it just helps you, because really points are points when the objectives go, or when you're trying to control that. And also that if they never participated in the combat, they were just on your backfill by everything moved up to the mid range to get range, mid board to get range. It's not going to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. Alex, is it Schliver? I'm only here to pronounce your name incorrectly, mate. Bang bang.
Well played.
So here we go. We picked out a couple of lists. I know some of the players here. Going to be a great time in tough
Mm.
competition. But what do y'all think's winning? Dustin, what's your pick for faction or player taking this thing down?
To be honest, I'm feeling Necrons.
I'm kind of feeling Necrons as well. I feel like they've got a lot of podiums, they've got a lot of top fives. They haven't gotten a lot of firsts, and I think they're due for their first number one at a super major.
Yeah.
There we go.
Huh?
I'm gonna go like retro 3 weeks and say Tyranids.
Fair, totally
I
fair.
think I
They have,
think
they have
Tyranids
good
still have a
numbers.
lot of strength in them. I was gonna say a lot of legs, but little
A lot of
chip on the
arms.
nose.
They have a lot of arms.
Is there an exhibition match I hear before this event? I
There
think
absolutely is. It's going to be
Yes.
Army versus Air Force. Going to be the U.S. Army Esports versus. And I'm going to get the club name wrong because it's going to be several buddies, including someone
mm,
on FTN with me, Red Powell,
yep.
representing
Our man
U.S. Army Esports.
who better win.
Looking forward to that. Tune it. Yeah. Well, when I said 100% of the deceivers won this past weekend,
hmm
he had one of those deceivers, missed best general missed it by 1 point, but only lost to the guy who only dropped 1 point over the course of the whole weekend. So some absolute spectacular play, and that guy was Orcs. I don't know if anyone would have picked Orcs as best general going into that major
Yeah,
tournament.
it's
So
wild.
a meta buster, if there ever was one. But Necron's gonna be strong.
Agreed. So we got a spicy second event come to you guys, it's our absolute pleasure to be able to bring you some metas and shine some spotlights on some places in this wide world of Warhammer you may not see.
Well,
What do we got?
this is the Grand Tournament Hidalgo in Temiscalpa, Mexico.
That
I think I
sounds
got
good.
pretty close
Yeah,
on that. Hidalgo.
Crushed it.
I think you
Yeah.
did amazing.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
just
great.
sure there's a little bit more flourish in there if I was local. But thanks for bearing with us. 42 players, 6-round event. I absolutely love, by the way, the extra rounds and the number of players because
Mm,
I think that actually, depending on how they're doing the pairing system, you're going to have people kind of weave through each other maybe a couple of times. So there's a potential for 3 or 4 of those people to maybe get a rematch if they're doing pairings that way. Well, anyway, you're going to come away with some cool stories of this.
for
What are we
sure.
going to see there?
We are going to see the Imperial Super Faction. There are 4 Sisters of Battle, 2 Custodes, 1 Cult Mechanicus, 4 Astra Militarum, and 2 Imperial Knights. Space Marines, 3 Dark Angels, 3 Blood Angels, 1 Black Templar. Chaos, there's 3 Chaos Space Marines, 2 Death Guard, 1 Renegade Knight. Xenos, there's a single Necron and 3 Tau, no Orcs.
Mm.
Hive Mind, there's 4 Tyranids and still a GC. They're called. That's it. That's what I like to see. This is a good week. Eldaria, there's 2 Drukhari, 3 Harlequins, and 2 Assyriani. So that means the faction podium is Tyranids, Sisters, and Guard
hmm
at 4. Tau, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, and Harlequins at 3, and then a bunch of 2s. This is a fantastic spread. This is
Beautiful
awesome.
spread. Yeah, very nice spread. 42 players, and our faction podium essentially has like 38 of those players on it, to all intents and purposes.
Look at those guard, and I bet the taco game is strong in this area. Somebody let me know how that is.
Mhm.
If you're watching and follow me in some other places, you know how much I dig on tacos and burgers. So I got to know if you're local and you're going to this thing, Artemis. Let me know what's
Well,
up.
And yet you
Artemis
still think a grilled cheese beats a taco in a fight. I don't understand.
grilled cheese is like goo stuck together with love. Taco is just hopes and dreams and like not much gravity. It one good hit and it would come down like a house of cards. But it is what it is.
Wow, that is the most
I
succinct and best explanation of grilled cheese and tacos I have ever heard, Adam.
I still prefer tacos. Also, Artemis Steve pushed this event our way, and I'm so grateful to him that he did. And thank you for joining us for 52 amazing episodes, Artemis Steve. You're an absolute legend. Please tell us what you're bringing. I unfortunately do not know your real life name, and I didn't want to assume it's Steve.
or
Because
Artemis.
or Artemis.
Could be Artemis.
I control F'd both of those, by the way, and there was a Steven in attendance, but didn't want to assume it was you.
What are we going to see? Like what we've highlighted a couple of lists. Let's see what we're going to see there.
Absolutely. So, all right. My time to destroy some names, and my absolute apologies. First up, we have Mauricio Ivan Valdez Murillo. Um,
Oh, you tried to
uh,
roll your R too. Wow,
I
you're going
did
for it.
Murillo. I don't
Burrito.
know. Chaos Space Marines, Iron Warriors. So of course I'm going to be pulling out a bunch of Chaos Space Marines lists in the coming weeks, just so we keep our finger on the pulse of that faction as it develops with their new codex. He's got a Supreme Commander and double patrol, so spicy double patrol goodness, and Iron Warriors, so ignoring cover and no rerolls to wound, phenomenal. Supreme Command attachment starts off with a baton because why else you here, and a patrol. He's got a Dark Apostle, 5 Legionaries, which is just your ubiquitous
Chaos
troop
Space
choice.
Marines.
Just Chaos Space Marines. 10 borderline unkillable Terminators. They've got the black rune on them, so they're -1 to wound. 2 units of 5 Las Cannon Havocs, if my memory serves me correctly. A patrol is his last attachment. It's got a Master Possession, another 5 Legionaries, and 2 units of 3 Obliterators, the kind of much maligned Obliterators, which I think are better than people give them credit, but not as good as I wish
Well,
they
they
were.
probably took a little bit of a hit, but this is Iron
Mm.
Warriors.
Well, this is the thing with the Obliterators that a lot of people I think are forgetting. They're taking them as shooty units, right? Because Chaos, let's be honest, they're lacking dedicated shootings. The Havocs are good, but it's kind of
Deep
like
striking units too, so they
deep
can kind of
striking, yeah,
apply
deep striking
pressure
shooting.
Yeah.
where you think it's most applicable.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Obliterators are good in close combat too.
They're not bad. They're not bad, yeah, at all. They actually slap
They
pretty
have some
hard.
powers they can bring back to life too.
Mm.
They're durable. Like they're not
Where
just
they,
shooty units. They are now.
yeah.
The mutilators are gone. Mutilators no longer exist. They are now Oblitimutilators. So they're
Legends. They're
They're
legends.
Yes, legends. Now Obliterators
many
basically
ways.
have that now. So.
Figuratively and literally.
Yeah. So my issue with the Blitz is you are paying for a unit that has duality in that it's not a slouch in combat, but it's not as good as your dedicated combat units, the Termies, the Possessed, things of that ilk. But they're shooting, but they're not as good as the price tag of the shooting you're paying for, because you're paying for the duality. Like, you look at their price tag and you compare them to Iron Strider Ballistari for AdMech, you compare them to broadsides, you compare them to things of that nature, of that ilk. That's the points you're paying. And they don't quite cut it in that comparison.
Let me challenge that just a bit. You're exactly right. When you're looking at stat to stat, they don't stack up, but they still can be what you need in your list. And so I think you can look at it from the perspective of what fits into this particular list, or why that player may choose that, and maybe that makes all the difference, or maybe they just really like the way their paint jobs looked on those Obliterators and they want to.
Hey, if you have 6 good looking
Yeah.
Obliterators, bring them. This is, I will say too, this is the shootiest Chaos Space Marine list I've seen since the Codex drop.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I find that I do like the idea of in Black Legion, I'm coming around to the idea of a Relic Contemptor or 2. If you're taking a single detachment, this is only with Abaddon and a patrol or a battalion. Wait, can he buff? Yeah, Abaddon can buff a Volkite Contemptor, right? He can give 4 rolls to hit, rolls to wound.
I think it's anything. Well, it's core.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those you can just fish rerolls to wound. You can fish out all those 6s for the mortals. You can start doing heavy lifting again with that unit, but it's a one-off because you're paying a CP to take the bugger. So, and I don't hate Forge Fiends. I just hate that Armor Contempt makes them feel bad. Like, if Armor Contempt wasn't around, Forge Fiends would actually be pretty respectable. But yeah, as far as shooting for CSM, we'll still wait. He's got 2 units of las cannons as well. 2 units of las cannon havocs. They ain't nothing.
That's a lot of las cannons.
That is. I feel like the idea is to castle up around Abaddon, blow everything down, and then score some points.
Yeah. Yep. Bully your way into the middle. Well, the funny thing is, what I like is that you can have 1 unit of Blitz start on the board, and they can play defense for the Havocs, like, while you push up with your Termies and deep strike the other unit. So there is some duality here. Jumping down to the next list in attendance, Sebastian Flores Diaz Flores.
Oh, you didn't put as much effort into that one. I'm disappointed.
Sebastian Flores Diaz Flores. I don't know.
That's better. You half-assed it, was still better.
Yeah.
So
first point, great name.
Amazing name. I'm not sure if it's. I've got no idea. He's playing guard. Yeah.
Nice.
He's playing gunnery experts and spotter details. Now, I want to tell you that if you are playing, I was like, hopefully this is Artemis Steve. If not, but we've since heard in the chat that this isn't Artemis Steve. This guy has a brigade. I'm just gonna let that settle for a second. He's got a Chad brigade. because that's what his list is. It's the Chad Brigade, everybody.
The Chad
Settle,
Brigade.
settle in. Let me tell you a story.
Please,
I love
tell me the
this thing.
banners actually say the Chad Brigade on the.
If it doesn't, it should by the end of this event. It should. 2 company commanders, 3 tank commanders, which are all demolishers, 7 units of infantry. You know, you have to take 6 troops in your brigade, and this guy's like 7. Let's
if you're taking a
chuck in
brigade,
It's a war
you,
gear,
need to
man.
go above the minimum because you could do a battalion otherwise. Like, I want 7. I'm taking
Yeah.
a freaking brigade. Here we go.
Yeah,
That's a bunch of plasma guns.
it is. They're all tooled up to the nines, like bolt gun, power sword on all the freaking sergeants. It's amazing. 3 units of 3 Bullgren, which I actually like. I think I like 3x3 better than 1-1-9 these days. 2 company commanders, a platoon commander, 3 single armored sentinels, and 3 more Lehman Russ demolishers. So he has 6 demolisher cannons, 3 of those being on tank commanders.
Heck yeah.
That all get rerolls to their goodness and a bit of extra range. And this is going to blow people up. It's what is interesting is that there's no manticores, there's no bassies, there's no payload, because
Nothing subtle.
stuff it.
This made command squads in there.
This made me think that there wasn't going to be a huge amount of terrain on some tables, so he's like, don't need manticores, I can see them, let's go get them. Stuff like that. I think we've since been told in the chat that there's going to be pretty dense terrain here, so I think this is just a bold lad playing a Chad list.
There's quite a lively taco discussion going on, which I feel like now these tanks are distracting me.
Tanks distracting for the.
I want to see pictures of those tacos.
Let's see some tacos.
Man, I should have taken more pictures because I was there like 4 months ago. I was in Mexico City.
Yeah,
just grabbing whatever the street vendors were peddling. It was a good time.
I do like all these demolishers, though. No kidding aside. And I like the Sentinels, too, because I feel like that a player could easily be, speaking about being distracted by the tanks, that allows these other things to kind of filter out, score some points. The Bullgren could be difficult to dig out of any terrain that's there.
Yeah.
You know, any amount of -1, you know, if there is any of that on the table, then it's it changes the math by a big deal when you've got armor, contempt, Lehman Russes in this quantity.
Well, he's just like
he looked command squads.
He looked at the data. He looked at the data sheet. Was like, all right, so now we've got a 2 up, and we've got armor contempt. I'm taking 6 of these, and that's literally was like, okay, what list makes 6 of these make sense? Bang, brigade. Here we are. Love it. Absolute fan. Can't wait to see how he does.
What's the next list we're seeing?
David Hernandez Marino. He's playing Colt Mechanicus, Lucius, veteran cohort. He's got a battalion, and it's so crazy that over the span of about 12 months, the 3 HQs that you take in Colt Mechanicus has not changed.
Unchanged.
Single marshal, single dominus, single manipulus. Just your list starts with them in there. His troops choices. He's got 6 troops in his battalion. He's got 2 units of 20 rangers. 2 units of 5 vanguard. Apologies. He only has 4. 10, 6 Rust Stalkers. So 26 out of a possible 30 Rust Stalkers have been
so
taken.
Much damage. It's potential damage right there also.
Yeah. 5 Ballistari, 2 Ballistari, so 7 of the las cannon chickens, and then 3 Cerberus Raiders to be annoying. This is actually a really savage list. I like it.
Cerberus Raiders still can do what they do. Ballistari got the core back. They're decent blocks of shooting to be able to take advantage of the buffs from the characters. This will be stout.
This is going to be really good. This might even be my pick to win.
Wow.
This list is brutality.
I was about to say,
incarnate.
now it's time to call the winners, and then we're going to take a quick break. Then we're going to come back and cover one more event, and then we got a little palate cleanser at the end. If you're new around here, we call that segment the Fuego Orpedo, where we give ourselves a little bit of kind of an off-topic jaunt as this a little palate cleanser. And I just heard there's not going to be any breaks. There's no breaks,
and we're back
on this train. Yeah, everybody. And we're back. Thanks for checking out Frontline Gaming Network. It's been amazing. Let's pick a winner, though, before we jump on to the next event.
I'm picking this AdMech list. Or the Chad Brigade. Either way.
You talked about the Chad Brigade. How can you not pick the Chad Brigade?
Because this list dunks the Chad Brigade. I'm really sorry, mate, but that AdMech list, if you came up against it with that guard list, oof, you're in for a bad news bears time.
I'm going sisters. It's one of those things to where if these lists It seems like a pretty competitive environment. So, we don't know the composition of those lists, but as far as like, it seems like the players may be teching towards specific things that they expect to see there.
Hmm.
And I think Sisters have a lot of answers to most questions out there. And so I got to go with Sisters.
Yeah,
I'm
totally
gonna
fair.
say Nids on this one.
Nice, not bad. We got one more. We're going from Latin America to straight over to Spain to Madrid. Yeah.
Jumping across to de Madrid from Madrid, Spain, a grand tournament, 60 players, 5 rounds. Let's see what we're going to see.
In the Imperial Superfaction, there's 4 Sisters of Battle, 2 Custodes, 1 Cult Mechanicus, 4 Astro Militarum, 4 Grey Knights, and 3 Imperial Knights. Space Marines, there's 3 Dark Angels, 1 Blood Angel, 1 Ultramarine, 1 Black Templar, 1 Iron Hand. Chaos, there's 5 Chaos Space Marines, 3 T-Suns, 2 Death Guard, and 3 Renegade Knights. Xenos, there's 3 Necrons, 4 Orks, 2 Tau. Orks coming out top in the Xenos there. Hive Mind, just 5 Tyranids. Oh, the GST have fallen off in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a bunch
Eldari,
in the first one in the
they were all,
LSO.
yeah, they're all in Texas. That's where it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Eldari, there's 4 Harlequins, 3 Siriani, and 1 Yanari. So that means the faction podium is Tyranids and Chaos Space Marines topping it off at 5. Orcs, Harlequins, Sisters, Guard, and Grey Knights tied for second with 4, and then a bunch of 3s and 2s. Like, this is...
Well, I got to give a little slow clap for Nephilim here.
Yeah,
Really
seriously.
showing
Yeah.
some presence
Diversity.
in all 3 of these events.
This may be the best spread event we've done in the last 12 months. So we've
Yeah.
been doing this show for 12 months. This might be the best spread I've ever seen for 60 players. Crazy how good this is. And it's just wild that there's no 10%er. Like, there's nothing that has 6 lists. You would expect, like a couple months ago, for Nids and Tau to both have 10% representation of a 60-player event, or those two, and like a third just out of nowhere. I love this. Absolutely adore it.
Yeah,
These
and Joshua just came in the chat saying having a great time playing with Orcs. Says
Mhm.
puts up a decent string of wins and having a good time with them. Feels like there's opportunity on the table, which really what you want from any kind of balance or shifts that happen in the game.
Absolutely. Really cool to see. So I think this is maybe the first time we've seen Chaos Space Marines on a podium for faction representation. May continue, may not. We'll see how people like their new codex once they start getting down into some crunchy games with them. But this is the first time they've got first place, I think, in our 12 months of doing this show. Would be the first time Chaos Space Marines.
Okay. First time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They've been on
Definitely.
the top.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's really encouraging to see for that
Death
faction.
Guard, at the height of Death Guard, I don't think has ever made it. There's always been something else above.
Yeah,
Death
that's
Guard.
true. That's true. They're perpetual like bridesmaids.
I bet there was one European event that their Death Guard was top.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Even with like 15 to 1,000 Death Guard players in Europe, they were still, I still think, only number 2. So this is an impressive accomplishment that Abaddon, first time on the scene, making a splash.
All right, top players in attendance. We have Guillermo San Miguel. I'm getting more confident as I go. Probably butchering it even harder. He's playing Chaos Space Marines. He's playing Word Bearers. He's got a battalion which consists of a Demon Prince, a Dark Apostle, a Master of Possession, 2 units of 10 Cultists, 5 just Legionnaires, 10 Terminators, 3 units of Possessed consisting of 2 5-mans and a 7, and then 8 Warp Talons. And then of course a Supreme Command with Abby, because like I said, why else are you here?
Yep.
What do you guys make of this one? This is a bit of an interesting one, and I think this represents what the Word Bearers archetype looks like. Like, I think we're already close to like almost a solved list for Word Bearers.
What do Word Bearers do for Possessed? Because you mentioned that the Word Bearers may be the top overall power list when in conjunction with some Possessed. So what are you expecting to see out of there?
So the Word Bearers super jack up their powers from their Master of Possession, which gives a hell of a lot of a huge swathe of buffs to Demonkin, which is your 50-50 demons, and it's your possessed essentially in this configuration. +1 to wound. It gives them the 4-up invulnerable save, a bunch of other good stuff. In addition, their trait is that essentially the first round of combat, you get full rerolls to hit, just full rerolls to hit. Like, you don't need a chapter master. Don't like. I'm of the opinion Word Bearers is the only list that doesn't need to have, or possibly doesn't even want to have Abby in it all the time, because they just get, if you just build a melee list, your whole army has rerolls to hit anyway.
It's real hard not to take Abaddon. I just
But
want to say
exactly right.
if you don't take Abaddon, you're exhibiting a level of discipline that I simply do not have.
Yes, yeah. I mean, for the first couple of months, 100% Abby's in every list. The dude, everyone's just too excited for him to be a playable model, legitimately in a powerful list. But yeah,
Matt coming in and said that the spice is high there. That's and I agree with the possessed.
And I think there is a assumption that they have one of the best secondary games coming out of Chaos Space Marines. Some people have been a little bit down on there not being that much variety in what the Chaos Space Marine secondaries do, as in from Legion to Legion. As in, most of them are like, here, go to this objective, hold it. Here, go to this objective, hold it. Word Bearers do that, but because they've got a melee-centric, kind of pretty speedy faction, they kind of score you points en route to doing what they were going to do anyway. Like, it's all scoring points is part of the journey the list was meant to do, so it kind of makes more cohesive sense for them. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good list. Is it surprising to me that it doesn't feel like it feels like the points could, I'm just, please shout me down if I'm wrong from the hills. It feels like the points could come down on Chaos Space Marines a little bit. I look at just the, you know how we used to go through just the sheer number of units in an army, in a conventional competitive army, and you just like, Drukhari at their peak was just like, there is so much army in this army. Why is there so much army?
Why is so many 80-point squads? This is ridiculous. Why is your to the last 81 points?
Yes. We're about to go down to an Ork list, and I love we had an Ork player chatting with us before, because I would go down this Ork list, and I use that as the contrasting point to this list, because I'm like, holy crap, this Ork list has so much stuff. And then I looked at this one, I'm like, these guys have no stuff by comparison. It's all very powerful, but it's very, very
well, remember, this is like the first week here. So I think that just like in a Space Marine list, well, I shouldn't say, look, I don't want to offend any Chaos Space Marine players out there. But, you know, what you saw in Space Marine players is some generals have chose to kind of divvy up their points. Like, oh, let me take this Landspeeder Storm or some Servitors or whatever. But that is not where they kicked off from. Where they kicked off from was, I'm going to take the Marine brick stuff and see how well it does. And then we'll start getting, you know, a little fancy and see if some of those units can be broken up and chosen. Because, you know, we haven't seen many mortals in this list, and the Chaos Space Marine Codex does have access to some inexpensive choices. We just haven't seen them yet.
Everyone's probably just really, like you said, it's still first press lists. Everyone's just really excited to play with a bunch of models they haven't had any reason to in a very long time. So it's still probably a couple of months away from getting the condensed goodness. Next up, we have Alberto Nicolas.
That's better.
Or Alberto Nicholas, as we say in Australia. He's playing Orcs, he's playing Blood Axes, and this list is a list that has a lot of lists. He's got a Trouble Patrol, he's got a Beast Boss on Squigosaur, 2 units of Beast Snagger Boys, and then 10 Truck Boys, I believe. 2x5 a unit of 5 and a unit of 10 Commandos, 5 Squighod Boys, and another unit of 5 Commandos. So, sorry. I've written the Commandos in twice. Apologies, guys. He doesn't have 4 units of Commandos. It's a unit of 5, a unit of 10, and then 5 Squighod Boys, and 2 Kill Rigs, and then a single truck. His second patrol is a Weird Boy.
Oh, there's more?
Another unit of 10 Truck Boys, 2 units of 10 Gretchen, 5 Burner Boys, the other third unit of Commandos, another 10-man, 6 Squighog Boys, 9 Storm Boys, and a second truck.
See, I wasn't reading ahead. You were like, he doesn't have 4 units of Commandos. I was like, no, that's the third one. He's good.
Yeah. But so look how much this list has. It has lots of list in this list. Like, it just keeps on going. Is there close to, I think it's about 80 boys. So 30, 40, 45, 55, 65, 75, 80. Yeah, there is close to 100 orc lads, orc bodies in this list.
In addition, it's mobile too. It's fast. Like there isn't a whole lot of hanging out in the backfield. Everything is moving up.
I'm a fan of this list. It's got a lot of jank, being Blood Axes. It's got a lot of little bits and pieces it can do above and beyond others, and I think it's still just got a lot of straight line oomph. It does struggle into some of the meta lists out there. Like, this guy wants to be scrapping with like Harlequins and Drukhari and Nids and not Armor Contempt. Like,
well, when you say jank, is that the Blood Axes have access to the surprise stratagem, where it's when you charge them and they're in cover, I believe they get to make you fight last.
Yes, isn't it? It's a stratagem, isn't it? Or is it
It's a stratagem, it's a surprise. Yeah. You know, we're like, oh, you know, you didn't know we were going to do this. and
You
they
thought you
can,
was, but you ain't.
yeah, you have some pretty devastating results. We saw that play out in tournaments in the past, and Blood X's
Hmm.
specifically get access to that through the supplements. It can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's a good list, and I feel like he's done a really good job of getting good numbers of the right units. The only one I wish he had like one unit of high rend, of super high rend, like one unit of a decent sized mega knobs,
But
because I
says
just
the
feel like
Squig Hog boss not good enough for you?
well, so I'm envisioning that Squig Hog needing one other unit to help it like punch a unit of Skybricol Terminators to death, in a round to
Yeah,
kill like half, 2/3, or 3/4 of the squad, to just get that job done. As it sits right now, I feel like one unit of Skybricol's turn one gets into the middle of the table and he's like, you
I
can't do
don't
anything
know any
about
orc
this.
players that don't roll a bunch of sixes. I think they'll be all right.
That's fair. Dustin, you've been quiet on this one. What do you make of it?
I've been investigating this orc list because I actually really like it because I'm a big
Hmm.
transport fan and guys inside the transports, and this has a lot of that. Both the
Yes.
beast snaggers are going into kill rigs, all the boys are going into trucks, and the squig hogs. Like it's a fast as it can get to where it needs to be, and I think it's going to get the points it needs to. And yeah, you're right. It's going to have some tough matchups. It does not like Armor of Contempt, but really, who does unless you're wearing it?
Hmm.
So I
Oh,
mean.
It's true.
I knew your hand was going up there, Paul. I caught it before it went any further up. But yeah, I like this list. I actually think it's really good.
All right, and the last of our lists for your viewing pleasure, Andres Conesa Garcia.
Okay.
Apologies if I butchered the crap out of that.
Yeah, you're good. I like it.
Adept is a start. He's playing Ultramarines, a single battalion Ultramarines. You're like, it's a great day. He's got Calgar. He's got Tiggy. You're
oh,
like,
what a champion!
Wow.
what a mad lad. 5
Calgar gives you
assault.
2 command points, so I mean, it's no joke. You're all like Calgar, what? Like, okay, well, I started the game with 7 command points.
Legitimately, Calgar. Unless you're taking Gilliman, you should be taking Calgar. Like, I'm that far deep on that guy. I wish he just didn't have damage D3 on his fists. Like, why is he?
I actually feel like if you're bringing Ultramarines, I think that Gilliman's almost an auto include now with his point drop. I
He's
don't know.
pretty mad. Like,
He's
Gilliman is
pretty good.
He's 300 now, is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Same
pretty good
points
for
as
what he
Abaddon, I
brings.
believe. Yeah.
Yeah, he's freaking fantastic. But jumping down, 5 assault intercessors, tunes of 5 and curses make up the troops choices. He's got an apothecary, 5 blade guard, 3 redemptor dreads, and a spicy contemptor dread. Then he's got 3 eliminators and 5 eradicators. I actually quietly like this list quite a bit. He's got
This is
the
good.
dense. He's got the extra CP from Calgar, and he has the density of dreads to make that redeploy. Not a backbreaker CP wise, and extremely potent because he just picks up the like 2 contemptor, like the contemptor and 2 redemptors, and just puts them in the perfect place. Like after he sees he goes first, he can apply a lot of pressure. The shooting damage is very respectable, and it's durable as well. It's got 1 counter assault unit, being the blade guard vest, to kind of play defense, in addition to having the counter assault from the redemptors as well. I think this list is
Well,
quietly
I mean, in
pretty powerful.
Calgar, Tigurius has some damage you can dish out. He can also make
Mm.
some of those dreadnoughts tougher.
Tiggy's the interesting one here, yeah, because you give up the ability to take a Bore the Witch against Grey Knights, against T-Suns, but you open up the psychic secondaries tree, right? That's the exchange we're looking at,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's a worthwhile exchange. I think I've said this
Mm.
before too. I think that most times a Bore the Witch is a trap. Taking a Bore the Witch against T-Suns with Armor of Contempt, are you
No.
crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, against MSU Grey Knights, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of
MSU
the
Grey
time,
Knights, sure, yeah.
but that's one build within one faction
Yeah.
where it feels good, right? There's
Yeah.
a whole there's not many others where it feels amazing.
Yeah. I
So
don't like sacrificing things that will make your list better
Mm.
because you're worried about one matchup somewhere down the
Yeah.
line.
That's good advice, I think, for sure. So, what's taking this thing?
This is going to be a real hard one to pick because the spread is so insanely good. So we can just
Yeah.
we can just throw out whatever we want. Let's go Orcs. I'm going Orcs. Let's do it.
Okay.
Smash it.
I think this is going to be the first event that Chaos Space Marines are going to win.
Ooh,
Ooh,
I like that call.
I like that. I like it too. I'm going. I'll go completely off the beaten path here and say Yanari.
Oh,
The one
nice.
Unari there. Whoa.
I thought
Yep.
you were playing with us and you were going to say Blood Angels.
I was waiting for that too.
Dude, Yanari's a good call. They are
Yeah.
quietly powerful, and not getting the respect
Depending on
I
the
think
list
they
build,
deserve.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Hey, I
and plus
heard that the Army Wide Fight First is pretty good, so
Yeah, and some folks just aren't familiar with what they can pull off, and
Mhm.
that may give them an advantage here in this environment with the number of players and what we've seen to these other lists here. With imperfect information, that's what we're putting out.
Mm.
Folks, if you went to this event, you'll have to let us know how we did. But look, we're not done here, folks. Like I said, if you're new here, we have a segment we call the Fuego Orpedo, where we give ourselves a series of topics. We run down those topics on a clock. When that clock runs out, we stop talking about it, move on to the next thing, never to revisit it again.
You keep emphasizing that more and more every week. I feel attacked.
We'll have one week we'll have a never revisit it again topic where we
Revisit
give
it. Yeah.
maybe a second go as a treat. Maybe on year 2, if you guys want to see us get to year 2, uh, you know, put in some topics here, so we'll revisit them later on. As soon as that, I don't know if is production going to come in and join us. Oh, so production. Oh, so now we have 1 minute. So there
Oh,
we
We have
go.
geez.
1 minute.
Uh,
We're supposed to have
Happy
2 minutes.
birthday, Thursday show. That's not the topic. Best kind of cake. This is something near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. Dustin, what's your best kind of cake?
This is gonna be a weird one, but it's like cake my wife always gets me for like my birthday. It's watermelon cake.
Water.
What is that?
Oh,
It's
it is.
watermelon. It's a cake. We
It-
got 30
yeah.
seconds. Adam, what's your take on the cake?
Carrot cake. A good carrot cake, very hard to beat.
Oh man, I find myself agreeing with Adam more often recently. I don't know what that says,
I don't know what that means.
but when he's right,
Yeah.
he's right. Carrot cake's pretty freaking delicious. So
Yeah. But do you know what starting to go off? I'm starting to go off cheesecake. I was a mad cheesecake fan. I'm starting to decline on the cheesecake a little bit.
Really?
cheesecake's good.
Yeah.
I love
It's,
cheesecake.
it's very good. It used to be my number one bay, and now I'm not. I think my taste buds are getting crapper as I get older.
Instead of a cheesecake, I'm gonna go with creme brulee. But if there's like
Ooh.
a cake and and there carrot cake's on there, whatever. So at 2 minutes, I feel like much less pressure. We should go get it back to a minute. Uh, what do you get a Warhammer fan for their birthday? I want to start out. Look, if you're not a Warhammer fan and you don't know what they're into, don't get them anything.
Mhm. That's the right
Because
answer.
They already have it.
That's
They
the right
already
answer.
have it.
What's the thing? I'm a grown ass man with a full time job. I own most things I want. Like
You can get them if you get them anything. If you know they paint, get them a great brush. Get them one of the
yeah,
Artificer
yep.
series brushes because that's one of the things they probably haven't splurged on yet.
Mm.
And then you can't go wrong with gift cards. That's absolutely sure. But if it's so it's very difficult to shop for us Warhammer fans
Mhm.
when we are as deep into it as probably the folks listening to this show.
So one of the tips I'll say, don't buy people. Don't unannounced buy people terrain. If you know they're looking to build a table or get a table together, sure, go for it. But I have mates whose like partners have bought them like a full table of GW terrain, and they're like, that's like 100 hours work, love. Thank you. And they just never touch it. They just never touch it, and it sits there unbuilt, unpainted.
I've got a tragic story about the Fortress of Redemption.
Fair.
And it plays into exactly what you're saying. I don't know if we can fit it in 30 seconds.
Go
Maybe
for it.
something we do on FTN.
No, Dustin.
Oh,
you need to
I'll
answer
tell you.
first.
I'll tell you real quick. Is that my wife had actually bought me a Fortress of Redemption when it first came out because she thought, "Oh, I'm gonna love it." And turns out I did love it. I'd bought it that same day. So,
Wow.
I have a seismic drill still in wrapping. They don't
There
exist
you go.
anymore.
There you go.
But that's just nope. They're not a thing anymore.
I mean, the terrain still exists, right? It's
The,
just hasn't got any rules.
the terrain, like you still use the terrain, but it's not. It has no rules.
what do you like to eat on your birthday? That's the question. This could be anything.
Yeah,
Like,
good.
as a birthday dinner, or just like if you're binging on something and you're.
If I had my choice right now, because I'm right now I'm longing for New Orleans food. I feel for some soul food. If my birthday was tomorrow, I would want a big bowl of gumbo and a big bowl of red beans and rice, and that would be my happy birthday right now.
Okay.
I go with some wings. Can't go wrong with wings.
The default.
The default wings. I think that's
Gotta be
usually
extra
the
sweet,
answer for
gotta be super
whenever it's
spicy.
food related.
Mm.
See, for me, there's two things that I really like to eat. And one of them is like I like having good steak meals, like maybe some blue cheese butter dressing on there, and I get a nice shrimp and scallop with bacon wrapped around it for an appetizer, or just go the complete opposite direction and get sushi because I really like sushi. I'm a big sushi fan.
Me too.
Do you
I
have a
can never.
specific type of sushi like?
I like the black dragon rolls, so it's
I don't know what that is. I'm basically a coward when it comes to sushi.
it's
so
usually got
I'm
like
not-
shrimp. It's usually got shrimp on the inside or shrimp and crab. There's some tempura on there, the cucumber, and it's wrapped in sushi roll. And the black ones will have either barbecue eel on it, or you get the red dragons that have salmon on top of it. They're so good, so good.
Going on to the next topic, here we go. So, what 40K thing are you looking forward to most by the show's second birthday? So that's a year from now. What changes are in store for us that maybe we're just wish listing at this point for next July?
I wish it didn't say 40K. If it said what hobby thing, I'd be like a release date for Warhammer Fantasy. Is what I want. What do you got? What about you
What
guys?
about the old world is what you're talking about?
That's
The old
correct.
world. Oh, it's gonna be nice too.
You can answer however you want. Yeah, it's the beauty of a rapid fire.
What about you, Paul? What are you
Well,
hoping
I
for?
mean, I'm never getting Sanguinius back, so I might as well put that off the.
You can still hope for it.
Dude,
I want
you Dante model, man.
I want Primera Sanguinary Guard. That's what I want.
Ooh, that's nice.
I want Aberrants to be worth taking again.
Surely, yeah. 4 more balanced data slates, 2 more chapter approved. It's
Bound
gotta.
to come back
please.
around. It's gonna
There's
be
some
amazing.
opportunities
Please.
there.
Please.
What
There
is
was a
the-
hero at TGX that ran Old Muscle Beach list. Absolute props to that guy. I wanted to high five him. That was amazing.
Nice.
What is the best age to be?
The age you are.
I'm going right now. Life is good.
My 30s
Always
have
be
been
happy where you are.
my 30s have been absolutely freaking awesome. So I'm gonna say like, yeah, 32. 32 might just have been
32.
my peak.
Done.
I thought you said 35, and I was like, I could be reasonably. I could 32 doesn't sound too bad. 35, that sounds rough.
I'd say 33. 33 was a good year for me.
I'm
Not
turning-
1933. My age 33. That don't confuse that.
I'm turning 35 in what? 3 weeks?
Ooh. So we're gonna have like a birthday, Adam birthday.
Let's have a series of celebrations. Is
Maybe.
what this
I
show's
might-
about.
I might be missing that day anyway because I'll be at WTC.
I think
so
you're
we'll
missing
see.
a year. You having to count like what Hey, okay, that is the end of our show. That's the end of the Fuego Orpedo. Really, from the bottom of my heart, thanks to the folks that have made this chat just on fire this week and every week, and folks have come tuned in live. I want to say thanks to everyone that tunes in after the fact. Please, please, please leave us some 5-star reviews, leave us some thumbs up, some likes, or whatever you do, however you interact, wherever you listen to the stuff. Check out Frontline Gaming, the host and sponsors of this show. We'll be back next week to talk about some more events. It's been a blast.
I just want to quickly plug before we go out. Unfortunately, we didn't have like an ad to roll, but there is a Gleam campaign going for Frontline Gaming at the moment. Whole bunch of swathe of amazing prizes you can get in. Of course, you can get a bunch of different tickets, a bunch of entries in that prize draw through a myriad of different ways. Jump over to Frontline Gaming to learn more about that.
Click that stuff. See y'all soon.
All the stuff.
See ya.